Bankruptcy is actually in our Constitution. People don't even know that. It's Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 of our Constitution. And the reason is really social, if you think about it. Bankruptcy is designed so that no one gets to be too rich and so no one gets to be too poor. So if we have financial stress, we want to relieve that financial stress so that people they're not going to become indentured servants, for example. And if you think about it, when we had our countries founded, we had indentured servants that came over here. We didn't want indentured servants. So you have bankruptcy to relieve people from indebtedness so they don't become serfs, they don't become indentured servants going forward. And the idea of bankruptcy is that if there's not enough in the pie to give everybody, we'll divide that pie up and we'll give everyone a piece of the pie that's left over. So that maybe they don't get a whole piece, they get a quarter of a piece, a third of a piece, a tenth of a piece. And in exchange for that deal, that you give up your pie and you keep your exempt assets, you get a fresh start, but the creditors get a piece of the pie. And if there's nothing that there's available for the creditors get nothing, which sometimes happens. But the bargain of bankruptcy is that you give up what you have in order to get a fresh start. And so in many instances, what you have, you get to keep because it's exempt from creditors' claims. Look, I think that it's important for the world to understand that bankruptcy is about healing and that bankruptcy is a social good. And I think it's important for people to understand even the origin of bankruptcy. So I always tell people about this a little bit. You know, if you have any kind of a religious background, some people do, some people don't, but even if you just have reading, you've heard of the fact of, that on the seventh day was a day of rest. And you've heard that on the seventh year as a year of rest, as a year of relief from debts. And you've heard 49th year, that's the Jubilee year in which all debts are resolved, they're eliminated. And it's there, you can look at it, it's in the Bible. And so how did these ideas develop from the Bible to become in our Title 11 of the Bankruptcy Code? And I'll tell you the answer to that. Over time, people migrated from Judea to Rome. And they went to Rome to complain about the conditions that they were suffering in Judea. But when these people from Judea moved to Rome, they brought with them some of their ideas, which included seventh day of rest, seventh year sabbatical, seventh year Jubilee year. And the Romans didn't think that was a bad idea, actually. And so over time, the Romans indicated that when it was time that they could not pay their debts, they had an indication of the fact that they could not pay their debts. The way the Romans indicated that they could not pay their debts is they would break their bench. The merchant would take their bench, or the artisan would take their bench and break it. And in Latin, the word for broken bench is banca rota. Banca rota. That sounds a lot like bankruptcy, doesn't it? It is. And so that's how the concept of bankruptcy migrated from the East to the West. And you think about it, how did bankruptcy look when you had indentured servants in England and indentured servants coming to this country? We didn't like that idea. We didn't like that idea at all. And so we incorporated the idea that bankruptcy should be something that is possible in our Constitution. Now, why is it that bankruptcy and immigration are the same clause in the Bankruptcy Code? And it's because we were a nation of poor immigrants, weren't we? People that came here with, many of them were indentured servants, and we just said, if you come here, we're going to give you a fresh start, and we're going to let you become citizens in this country. Now, we can talk about the philosophy of that some other time, and I'm not going to discuss immigration, but I will tell you that bankruptcy has been part of the social bargain of this country for quite a long time. And it's so that no one should be too rich, and so no one should be too poor, and if you get in trouble, you get a fresh start, and that is your constitutional right. And I have been very proud to have been part of that for a long time, and I will do that as long as I practice.